One Shabbos morning, around a little after 4:20 a.m., I heard a little knock on my bedroom door, and it was my 9-year-old daughter, and I told her to come in, and she came in, and she said, "Mommy, there's a robber in our house." He was just in my room, and now he's in the kitchen downstairs.
My wife heard the baby gate rattling on top of the steps, and it didn't make sense. The kids were sleeping, that they would be going downstairs at that time. She opened up our bedroom door and she was face to face with a perp.
I came downstairs in the middle of the night. It was dark, and I go into my kitchen and I see somebody standing there. He turns around and he has a ski mask, and he turns to me and he says, "I'm gonna kill you." And he starts running towards me, and everything is happening so fast, everything is slowing down, and I just instinct kicked in and I grabbed the chair and I hit him with a chair.
My daughter gave me very vivid descriptions of the person that was in her room. She said that she woke up and she saw a man standing over her bed wearing a hood and a mask, and she told me gray socks, and she opened her eyes and the man looked at her and said, "Go back to sleep." So she told me that she closed her eyes and she pretended that she was sleeping, and she waited until she heard his footsteps go downstairs to the kitchen, and that's when she knocked on my door.
After I pummeled him, he ran out the side door. I chased after him, closed the door behind him and locked it.
We called the police, we called right away Shomrim, Rnsp, and starting to put the pieces back together of what transpired.
Ran upstairs, my wife's on the phone with Shomrim. She's on the other phone with 911, screaming, "Someone in my house, someone in the house." Police officer tells us to get all the kids into the room, lock the door, and wait for somebody to come.
I first went to check on all my children, and they were all, Baruch Hashem, safe in their beds, fast asleep. And I motioned to my husband. He ran to the window of our bedroom, which looks to the street. He opens up the shade, and he saw somebody who was walking up the driveway from my house, crossing the street, and disappearing.
So we started to get a lot of calls in the middle of the night. People would call us frantic that somebody was just in their house, sometimes screaming on the phone. This started happening a lot. We would respond immediately. We would get there, often just a minute too late. Perp was no longer there. The police would obviously canvass the whole house. We would set a perimeter and search.
Obviously, we had a lot of different members of the police department and detectives come down to our house, ask a lot of questions to all of us, to myself, to my daughter specifically, who experienced this.
Shomrim was there right away. Cops came afterwards, about 10 or 12 of them. They went in the house, checked every single room in the house, and cleared the house. And then we tried to figure out where he came in. We had cameras. We figured out where he got in. He actually climbed in on an air conditioner, broke in through the window. This guy was very, very good at what he did.
When I turned on my phone, I saw many, many fraud alerts and texts from the bank and from credit cards. And I went to go to my pocketbook to check what was happening, and I saw all of the credit cards were gone. All of the cash that we had on us were gone.
After the police left, Shomrim stayed with us the entire day from 4 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. I had to tell them to go home. They kept in touch with us every single day, kept us updated on what was going on, checked in to see how we're doing, any sort of resources we need to help us get through this. They were just amazing.
Next day, we would gather video footage, try to track back exactly where the perp came from, as far as we can go, often just having no luck at some point.
Rnsp spent countless hours going door to door in the community, procuring surveillance video of this perpetrator committing crimes in action.
Together with Rnsp and the NYPD, we worked hand in hand. I remember they canvassed the neighborhood, putting together footage from all the neighbors. We obviously put up cameras right afterwards as well. We spent days putting together footage to piece together how it happened, what transpired, that he was canvassing the house and he was looking at the house and how he went into the property.
So we would be getting so many of these calls that we would go to sleep with our clothes on, expecting to get that call 2, 3 in the morning. Our shoes were right by the bed, jump up, fly out of bed. Every time I would go, I would think that there was a chance that we would get him, but in my mind, I knew that it was likely that the guy was gone already. The perp we were dealing with is a pro. He's fast, he's sneaky.
My detective squad, along with others, and the Rockaway Nassau Safety Patrol were able to identify and pull a lot of video in regards to most of these incidents.
I was in touch with Willie Cassover every single day. He always called to check in with us, giving us updates what was going on in the progress of the case.
Needless to say, it took months for us to, feel at ease again. There's still times where we shudder when we hear any noise.
Mr. Cassover himself waited for my daughter to come home one day from a play date, and he told her, he said, "Don't worry, I know who he is, and I promise you that I'm gonna get him."
Even if we knew who the person was on all the video, it still wouldn't work in a court of law because his face was always masked up. It happened to be in this last pattern. The perpetrator would wear the same exact clothing, the same shoes in all the videos and all the burglaries over months.
With the help of Rnsp and my teams and the detective squad, we were able to identify a specific individual who has a lengthy history of committing burglaries throughout the 101 precinct.
With help from the license plate reading cameras that were installed by the Rockaway Nassau Safety Patrol, we've been able to identify a specific vehicle that was involved in these burglaries, and we were able to then identify and then track the perpetrators involved.
I always say Rockaway Nassau Safety Patrol is the eyes and ears of the community.
There were times where I spent from my mornings to night for days, weeks, searching video. Going through hundreds and hundreds of video cameras. You can imagine, you show up, people's timing is off, you have to try to figure out, but it's just crucial. We need to be able to get as much as we can over here, build a case, and try to figure out the pattern and the timing so that we can be able to get him in progress. We had to be able to catch him in a house, ID him. We knew this was going to be the only way that we were going to be able to actually keep him behind bars.
We met with Rnsp at the 101 precinct. We developed a tactical plan. We knew that these burglaries were occurring late at night, after midnight. So I had two of my teams come in and work with Rnsp. We wound up extending the tours for the cops later, so they would be on tour when they're not normally on tour late at the night, because these burglaries were occurring in the middle of the night.
And then for a certain period, he started to only hit on Friday nights. This got complicating, obviously, because Shabbos. We spoke to our Rav, Rabbi Flaum, who advised us that we need to go out and catch him. I can't go too much into all the tactics we use, but we were able to get a location on him, and we surveilled him for a nice period of time, close to 6 weeks. Finally, after multiple weeks of trying, remember that Friday night, Shomrim comes on the radio, guys, he's heading into the 101.
So this particular night, we conducted this operation. We established communication with Rnsp, who was out in the field with us, particularly looking for this individual that was wanted for the burglaries.
So we see him leave the vehicle, straight into the backyard. We're setting up, all on foot. All our members are out, and we're hiding. We're dressed in all black. Our faces are covered. We don't want to be seen, no vehicles. So I remember that feeling, knowing the special ops teams was about to end their shift, and he's here in the neighborhood, and we need to get him, and I can't have them leave, and something's gonna happen. Like, this is our opportunity. I'm sitting in some bushes, just waiting out, and I just say to Hashem, like, look at all these members out. It's Shabbos. Like, this, we don't want to do this again next Shabbos, and we're doing this, for the protection of this community, leaving our families. It's difficult. And I was like, Hashem, just help us, just have him come out, have me just bump into him, let me just find him. I hop over a fence just to see another street, and I walk out of the backyard, and sure enough, he comes walking out of the backyard right next to me, and we walk past each other like I was fully masked up like I was a perp. I was wearing a knapsack. He looks back at me. I start pulling car door handles as if I was a perp, turn into a backyard, and I quickly run around the house, and I let the units know, and PD, that I got eyes on him. He was wearing the same clothing as all the other Bergs. I walked by, I saw his face, and I'm keeping eyes on him as he tries, watching him try homes. At one point, he went into the house. It was very dark. I knew that the people were away just because of there was just no lights on except for, I think, right in the front vestibule. And I'm watching him try to get into this house. And as I tried to get closer, I actually lost eyes on him for a few minutes. And I didn't know if he got into that house or if he continued. The members were setting this perimeter. PD's waiting to move in. We know we can't just get him on trespassing. We need to get him on a burglary. It needs to be a confirmed burg, because otherwise we're gonna spook him off, and this is our opportunity. So each call you make in that moment can feel like a year. Like you're not sure which decisions to make, and we just gotta pick up eyes. And at one point he's not coming out, and we don't have eyes on him. I don't want him to walk into another one of the members that are setting the perimeter. So I sneak up to this house that I saw him trying, and I open up the front vestibule door, and right away I see the front window is open, and I see his shoes, his sneakers that he's been wearing throughout hundreds of videos that we've been watching him in person for months, are sitting on the floor right in front of this window. And I knew right away he was in this house. But as I'm sitting there and I look at this window, he comes climbing out over the couch to come out of the window. He's about to leave, and he sees me, and we're face to face with each other, and his mask is enough down that I was able to see his face. He was climbing out, so it just got moved. And he right away goes running to the back, leaving his shoes there. I right away calling to PD, the location, and they should move in. PD moved in fast. They were fast. This perp is fast. And we always knew that it was gonna be that chance, but I was able to see his face, and I was able to ID him. So we watched the vehicle go pick him up. He flew 120 miles an hour back to the hotel that he was staying at, which we knew where he was. After Shabbos, we got in touch with the homeowner. The homeowner was upstate.
I was in Camp Aguda, and on Motzai Shabbos, I get a text from Rabbi Foyer telling me that Shmuley Castover is looking for me. I call him up, and he tells me your house was broken into.
I told him he needs to come in. His home was burglarized, and we need him to look around, see if anything's missing in the house.
When I came back down to the house, I walked in and I saw how he had climbed through the window. I felt so violated. Someone went through my house. We went through the house room by room. I checked for different things, for envelopes that had some money stored away, and finally we found the pushka where I keep charity donations that we give before Shabbos, missing, gone. All the money was taken.
We had worked with the NYPD's warrant squad. We gave him the location of where the perp was. We knew which hotel he was staying at. We had a TAC meeting early in the morning in a park in Queens. We made a plan. We surrounded that hotel. We set perimeter after perimeter after perimeter just in case. We knew that he would jump out this 6-story window to try to get away, and we had to have this place on lockdown. We had our drones. We were set up like there was nowhere for him to go. PD entered the hotel. Took him a little while of negotiations to try to get him out. And eventually they were able to place him under arrest. I remember him walking out of that hotel, the feeling inside, like knowing that we got him.
I can't even begin to describe the relief that myself, my wife, my kids have that night that we felt when he was caught.
Knowing that they were out there every single night looking for him, and the amount of effort and resources put into this was really unbelievable. They were on a mission to get this guy.
I got a phone call in the car, and my daughter was with me, and he asked to speak to my daughter. It was Mr. Cassiver, and he said, I kept my word. We got him. I just wanted to let you know.
Months of agony and trauma. And then that night, I think that was the first night that we slept in a long time as a family, and we owe them a debt of gratitude for it.
I feel a tremendous sense of gratitude towards them for what they did for myself, and for the community, that they finally got this fellow behind bars, and thank God there hasn't been any break-ins since that time, since he's been arrested.
Months and months of no sleep. It affects family life. Put all your focus, almost all the other calls that we respond and we deal with, but it was like, right now, the only priority is making sure we stop this burglary pattern. Like, it was intense.
On the morning that he was apprehended, the Rockaway Nassau Safety Patrol, along with Queens Warrants, was able to track down the perpetrator that was wanted in regards to these burglaries. They were using drone footage and many other of their tools. They were able to help us locate which room he was in a specific hotel in the northern end of Queens.
One of the things we pride ourselves on in the 101st Precinct is our collaboration with the community. One of our most integral members of the community is the Rnsp, Rockaway Nassau Safety Patrol.
As the commanding officer of the 101 Precinct Detective Squad, myself and most of my detectives reach out to the Rockaway Nassau Safety Patrol frequently throughout all of our investigations. They're helpful with any information that we may need from the community. They provide us with video footage. They provide us with any information that we don't necessarily have yet. They liaison between us and several victims that we may not be able to reach. They're an asset for us going through our day-to-day operations.
In my time here, in the past 3 years, I've worked with Rnsp continuously. We're constantly in communication, and so many different perpetrators have been apprehended based on this collaboration between us and Rnsp. So they've just been extremely vital to us as a source of fighting crime within the 101 Precinct.
We're very glad that we were able to work as a team and put an end to this.